What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Maps Exposed. This is the series where I share all of the lines of sight, jump spots, as well as any other sort of secrets and common spawn locations on every map in Modern Warfare. In today's episode, we're going to be moving on to the next 10v10 map, and this is Grazna Raid. And hopping right into it, I've got mainly jump spots for you guys on this map, and the first one I wanted to show you guys here is a great way to get up in that window, and it's not just jumping directly from the tank. I haven't actually been able to pull this off as many times as I've tried. So I thought it was kind of a lost cause. However, if this door is open this way, you can actually get up in that window by getting on top of this wall, and then from here, jump on top of the door, and then from the door, you can just jump across and up this window. This is an excellent way to take people off guard that might be just camping up on top of the stairs here. Maybe they've got a claymore set up, and they won't typically see you coming from this direction. Now, getting to the tire shop, just a few things I wanted to point out that I don't see enough people taking advantage of. The first one is, instead of going inside and up the stairs to get upstairs there, I don't see enough people just mantling on the tires and then up like this, and that gets you right up to this window. So that's a super easy way to get up there. Also, from this direction here, maybe the enemies have a claymore or something set up there, so you don't want to attack them from that direction. So if you're behind here, just to be unpredictable, you can hop up like this, around like that, and there you go. That will also get you into the window. Also, from this spot back here, I've got a couple little lines of sight to share with you. If you hop up on the wall, this gives you a nice line of sight into that window there, which is great if they've got you kind of spawn trapped from that window, because if you come out to the open like this, your entire body's exposed, or you could go up to the window there, but they're going to expect that. So this is a nice unexpected way where you can just mantle up quickly and pick off your shot. Also from here, you might have noticed, it gives you a nice little line of sight towards that window over there. And again, this is just not a spot they're normally going to be looking for you. Now, getting over to this area here, if you are flanking around and attacking and the enemies are spawning back there, and you expect enemies are going to be up in that building and they know you're going to be coming, you can hop up on the crates like this, and that gives you a nice little line of sight to that window there. So if they're camping in that window, they don't typically expect you to be up like this. Little alternative to that is to hop up on the barrel right here, and that also gives you a great line of sight. Now, next up, I have a nice little line of sight on the enemies that'll just hang out in that area there. You will often get enemies that just camp that location for whatever reason. I don't know why they like that area so much. But if you're all the way back here with the sniper rifle or a really accurate gun of some sort, you can just hop up on the car, and there you go. Great line of sight on those people, and they're not normally looking back this far. Now, another thing I want to point out here, just for like an opening route or just a route in general, is you can hop up this way. It's a great way to get up into this window really quickly, although it's not really all that surprising. Now, if you are in the upper level of this building and you have enemies that are just camping in that tire shop window back there, a nice little wall bang that they will never see coming is if you come all the way back here and then you just line up your shot between these two knots in the wood right there. If you jump, you can get a little bit of perspective on that, but if you just line your shot up right there, you can spray through that, or if you've got like an FMJ sniper rifle, for instance, you can shoot through there and you just might pick off a free kill. Next up, I have something that's very difficult to hit, but with enough practice, you might be able to do this consistently, and that is a way to get up there from this direction. I didn't think you'd be able to pull this off, but from the back of this car, you can jump to this wall, and that's the hard part, really. But once you get to that spot right there, from here, it's just an easy jump to get up right here. Now, over in this area, just in case you weren't aware, you can get on top of these areas right here just by jumping across like this, and you can use that to your advantage to challenge people that are back there or whatever you want to do there. This can also work if you're coming from this direction over here. You can just jump up on the wall like this, hop up like that, and then from here you can jump across to there and then on top of this, and that's just an alternative for you. Now, I also wanted to point out, you can get on top of this building quite easily. I never really see people up here, and that's for good reason. It's not really a super practical place to be. The only time it would be somewhat practical, I think, is if you have enemies that are coming specifically from that direction right there. This is somewhere where they wouldn't typically be looking. However, your back is completely exposed to those people. So, not the greatest spot, but I just wanted to point out you can get on top of that. Next up, over on the trench side of the map, I'm sure most of you guys know this, but there's probably still a few people that aren't aware that you can hop up and get into the top story of this building right here, and you can use this to check down that area or wherever you'd like, really. There's lots of different vantage points from here, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, a search and destroy bomb location somewhere down here, so pretty good spot to be up in if you weren't aware that it's there. Next up, if you're approaching this building from this direction here and you want to get up top, instead of going inside and up the stairs, which is what they would expect, you can actually just jump on the crates here, jump across like that, jump onto the railing, and for extra measure, you can even jump up like this instead of walking through the obvious doorway where they might have a claymore set up. Now this building back here by the Sea Domination flag is a very common camper building. You'll have people that are up here and they've almost always got claymores or proximity mines or something set up on the stairs, or they'll literally just sit back here watching the stairs as well as watching a few lines of sight here. So coming up those stairs is very dangerous. A great way to get to them that they don't typically expect is to jump up on top of the wall here, get on top of this roof. There's also a ladder back there if you want to use that. And then from here, you can quite simply jump across into this window or even into this window here if you want to be even less predictable. Now over on the playground side of the map, if you're pushing in this direction here, it's pretty common that you'll have somebody set up right there, and that makes it quite difficult to push through this playground area because they'll just pick you off and they have the height advantage and cover advantage on you here. So nice way to get a clean line of sight on them without them typically expecting it is to jump up on the wall and kind of back off a little bit like this. And through the tree there, you'll actually be able to see them, and they don't typically expect you here. And oftentimes you have nice coverage from that tree, so they're not really going to be looking here anyways. So you can typically pick them off quite easily. Now, if you are spawning on this side of the map here and you're trying to break out of this corner, this is a really terrible choke point to be in because you can have enemies up in that window, that broken area right there, as well as that window, just spawn trapping you back here. And it's really common that the spawns will funnel you through here. So a great way to challenge those people is if you've got a sniper rifle, I like coming to this location right here. It's better with the door closed just so your side is safe. But from this location, you can kind of head glitch over top of this fridge, or what is it? Oh, it's some sort of a laundry machine. I thought it was a fridge at first. But you can kind of head glitch over top like this, pick those people off. This is one of the best ways to challenge them. And then once you've cleared that window, you can also strafe your way around, clear out the people that are on that area. And this even works a little bit if you back off this way. This is the best way to challenge the people that are in that window back there. They won't typically see you backed off in the building like this. And with that, I've just got one more line of sight for you guys that I wanted to share, and this is if you're coming from this direction towards the B flag and you have enemies set up in the second story of that building there, they'll typically pick you off if you just push out in the open like this. So if you can manage to get yourself behind this truck, all you have to do is kind of walk up onto these sandbags and then strafe to the left, and there you go. Nice line of sight on them, and you've got much better cover than they do in this situation. And with that, that pretty much covers it for all of the jump spots and lines of sight that I wanted to share for you guys. But now let's move on to the most common spawn locations. Keeping in mind, this mainly applies to Domination, but this will carry over to other game modes as well. First up, let's have a look at the primary spawn locations. These are the spawns you'll spawn at most of the time, assuming there isn't any pressure put on your spawns, or assuming your teammates aren't anchoring you too far up the map. And you can see on the C side of the map, you'll either spawn basically right on the Sea Domination flag or the back street most of the time, whereas with A Domination, you just spawn right along the backside of the map. As for the secondary spawns, these ones apply when there's usually some pressure put on the spawns, or in the case of the one that's in the middle of the map, you can only spawn at that one in Domination if you hold the B flag, and it is a very strange spawn point as well because it's a relatively common spawn when you hold B. Now finally, this leaves us with a bunch of other spawn points that you tend to find while playing Domination on this. It's not necessarily a comprehensive list of every single spawn that you can potentially spawn at, but it is most of them. And the main thing I wanted to point out with this map when it comes to spawns is on the Sea Domination side of the map, you can see there are a ton of spawn locations that you can run into. Whereas on the A side of the map, there are very few spawn points that you'll find. And this is actually a problem I've noticed with the gameplay as well, is it's quite easy to be spawn trapped at A. On top of that, 2 of the 3 main spawn locations at A will often funnel you through that choke point by the laundromat, which makes it even easier to be spawn trapped back there. So I think this is kind of an issue with Grazna Raid, and this tends to mean that the seaside actually has a pretty big advantage, although at the same time there is a big disadvantage to being at sea, and that is if the enemies put pressure towards the bottom side of the map as they're looking at it now, and they're pushing in towards your C flag, it will push your spawn really far up to the top right corner of the map, as you can see there. And that is a horrible place to be spawning because it can take you a long time to get back in the action. But that pretty much covers it for everything I wanted to share in today's video on Grazna Raid. As for my opinion on this map, I actually don't mind it too much. I think the entire trench side of the map is pretty much useless and it's not really played all that much aside from certain game modes like maybe Search and Destroy. But aside from that, this is my favorite out of the 10v10 maps that we currently have in the game. Of course, though, that's just my opinion. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about Grazna Raid? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.